All right, what is going on, Pats Nation? Y'all already know who it is. It's Patriots Global here, of course, back with another video. And in this one, we're going to be doing our 2.0 version of Mock the Mock. If you don't know what Mock the Mock is, let me introduce you. Now, I didn't make this up. I don't know who made Mock the Mock up. I've seen it all over YouTube, all over social media, so I thought that I would go ahead and give it a bang. You guys seem to like my first Mock the Mock, and like always, if you guys do like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Sorry if you guys heard that, by the way, that was my computer. Subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button just below, but by hitting the like button, subscribing, and letting me know your comments in the comment section below. That tells me that you guys genuinely do like these videos. Of course, the better that these videos do, that shows me that you guys want to see more of these. And in the end, this channel is for you guys. I don't want to make videos that you guys don't want to see. So if you do want to see more Mock the Mocks leading up to the 2021 draft, which is just 2 weeks away, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Got a little sidetracked, but basically, if you don't know what Mock the Mock is, it's we look at somebody else's mock draft, okay? So this mock draft you're about to see, this isn't mine. This isn't my picks. We're going to basically just react to it. This is somebody else's. I'll give you my thoughts on it. The one we're going to look at today, which is, let me make sure I get this right. I want to give proper credit. This is Ryan Spagnoli's New England Patriots 7-round mock draft 4.0. So shout out to him for this. All the credit to him for this video, or not this video, but for the mock draft rather. If you guys do want to see my mock drafts, we've done several of these, from no trade mock drafts to mock drafts with trades, and we even did a mock draft where you, the fans, made the pick. So you can go check those out if you want to see some of my own mock drafts. But without further ado, let's get into today's mock draft, which of course, like I mentioned, we will be reacting to Ryan Spagnoli's 7-round mock draft. Welcome, Pats Nation, to Mock the Mock. And like always, if you guys do want to get more benefits, you want to get more from the channel, you can go ahead and check the link below to my Patreon. Love to see you guys there. Love to see you in our Discord chat. But of course, it's all up to you guys. So without further ado, let's hop right into this. So let's just scroll down. His title does say here, trade happy Patriots get an impact defender in round 1. So it looks like we'll be getting a defensive player here in the first round. I do like trade just because overall they're more realistic. So it looks like here the Patriots traded their first round already, but they traded down in the draft. I don't hate that if they can't get a quarterback. So it looks like they traded with the New Orleans Saints. The Saints got the 15th overall pick and a 5th. And we got a 1st and a 2nd. I mean, I don't hate it. Did we really have to give up our 5th round to trade down that much and only pick up a 2nd? I don't know. But nonetheless, it looks like we pick up another 2nd round pick. We lose our 5th round pick and we just trade down to 28, which from 15 to 28 is pretty significant. So I'm surprised we still had to give up that 5th round pick. Looks like another trade we'll end up making is with the San Francisco 49ers. Patriots will trade a 4th round pick, 120, another 4th round pick, and a 7th round to acquire the 49ers 3rd round. And then the last trade here, the Patriots will send off a 6th round pick, 188, and another 6th round pick. So it looks like both of their 6th rounders to Jacksonville for a 5th round pick. So essentially what this looks like is that the Patriots don't have a 6th or 7th round pick, but they will regain that 5th round pick. They get back into the 3rd and get another 2nd. So it looks like they'll be heavy within the upper rounds, which I don't hate. It's where most of the talent's going to be. So in the 1st round, pick 28, which was with the New Orleans Saints, the Patriots get linebacker Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. At first, when I read this, I did think it was 15th, and that's when I said, Zaven Collins at 15, I don't necessarily know, but at 28, I really, really like it. If Zaven Collins is still there, I definitely like the pickup. I know some people are like, linebacker, did the Patriots really need that? You can say yes, you can say no. You can argue that there's other positions that the Patriots need more in the 1st round over linebacker, But in the end, I would say that for the future, yeah, the Patriots could use some help at linebacker. We did get Matt Judon, but Matt Judon essentially is just an off-the-ball linebacker and mainly a guy who sets the edge. The Patriots will need to find that replacement for Dante Hightower soon. Kyle Van Noy's only on here for 2 years. And something that I've been saying is that the Patriots have a lot of linebackers that set the edge. They don't really have a lot of true linebackers that are every down linebackers that can stop the run, set the edge if they need to, shoot the gap, but most importantly, play in coverage. So what he says here is Zaven Collins comes off the board here late in the first round as the Patriots find their eventual Dante Hightower replacement in the middle of their front seven. It says that Zaven Collins offers a rare combination of size, speed, and play strength to play that middle linebacker role at the next level. He also made the ability to play off the ball, set the edge, and come downhill and play physical in the run game. A versatile player that has an elite skill set, Collins could hold multiple roles in the Patriots defense and be an impact player the moment he gets in the building. I think I've actually mocked Zaven Collins to the Patriots before, if I remember correctly. So it doesn't look like there's much more there, but yeah, I do like Zaven Collins. I do like the pick. Again, you can argue that there's other places the Patriots should go in the first round, but also understand is that in his mock draft, maybe other guys were off the board at that point. You know, maybe he didn't feel like grabbing somebody at 15 was worth it and trading down and picking up a second was just better value. I don't hate it. You know, so far I like the mock draft. So second round here, this should be one of our second rounds because we picked up another one. But second round, 46th overall, the Patriots get cornerback Kelvin Joseph out of Kentucky. It's a good pickup, especially it looks like a little bit, probably like mid second round. I don't hate the pickup. I do like the addition of a cornerback, especially if we didn't grab that in the first. I'm not necessarily sure who was on the board, obviously, in his mock draft. Kelvin Joseph wouldn't have been my first guy, but he is still definitely one of the best linebackers in this class. So let's see what he has to say here about his pick. So let's just, you guys are probably going to read this PFF section first. So it does say here, which is pretty eye-catching, that Kelvin Joseph had the second most interceptions in the SEC last season. So it looks like he's going to be more of a ball hog. With the uncertainty surrounding both Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson beyond 2021, the Patriots are in the market for a potential elite cornerback into the early rounds of the draft. Could not agree more with that. Joseph, who plays at just under 6 feet and 200 pounds, a cornerback who's under 6 foot. I don't love that. You know, his weight here is a nice build for a corner, but, you know, a guy on the outside who's under 6 foot always does concern me. He said he has the size to be a physical perimeter corner for the Patriots secondary. He is a big-time athlete as he ran a 4.34 40-yard dash, so a very, very fast cornerback that should be able to keep up with the Tyreek Hill, Brandon Cooks of the league. During his pro day, that displays his elite change of direction and fluid hips when covering, and has the ball skills and awareness at the catch point to play versus bigger wideouts. Joseph is a top 50 player in the class with the athleticism to cover all types of wide receivers. So I do agree with that. I do agree that he is also a top 50 player from what I've done in my mock drafts. And of course, I do like live simulated mock drafts. So other players are actually getting picked off of the board, which makes it more realistic. And he usually does go within the top 50. So it is pretty realistic there. If the Patriots can grab him here, I wouldn't hate it. I do definitely agree, though, that they do need to get some cornerback help. You don't know the certainty of Stephon Gilmore. You don't know the certainty of J.C. Jackson, your top two corners. Obviously, you have Jason McCourty. He's also out the building. He was your third cornerback. So maybe maybe people don't see it right now because currently they do still have J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore, but a year from now, we could be saying both of these guys are gone. So what turns from the best kind of positional value for the Patriots kind of goes to one of their biggest needs. And you want to get these new guys in the building and not have to make them starters day one. And learning behind both Stephon Gilmore and J.C. Jackson for Kelvin Joseph, I think would just be excellent. So I do agree picking up a corner. I think in pretty much almost every single one of my mock drafts, I've had them selecting a corner in the higher rounds. So I do like that. So with our next second round pick here that we got from the New Orleans Saints, 60th overall, they get offensive tackle Brady Christensen from BYU. I love this pick. Straight out, love this pick. I think that the Patriots do need to add a tackle. I don't think they need to go out here and add 4 tackles in this draft, but I do think they need to add a tackle, a guy who has the ability to genuinely be a starter for this team. And I love Brady Christensen out of BYU. I've mocked him to the Patriots several times. He's someone that I've seen go somewhere between the 3rd to 4th round. Sometimes he drops to the 4th, but usually within that kind of 3rd to 4th round area. And I think the Patriots are going to need an offensive tackle. One, because offensive tackle is one of the most important positions in football, especially on the offensive line. You need to protect the blind side for whoever your quarterback is. But I always say it. I'm going to say it again. You might get annoyed, but the offensive line performs as the engine to a car. Without the engine to a car, your car is not going to work. It's not going to move fluidly. And that's the same thing to an offensive line for an offense, for your quarterback. And with the uncertainty at the end of the season, where's Trent Brown going to go? Your right tackle. Where's Isaiah Wynn going to go? Your left tackle. You know, big question marks for both of these guys at the end of the season, not to mention Isaiah Wynn's health concerns. And even Trent Brown has health concerns. So getting a guy like Brady Christian in the building is super important. A lot of people will say, well, Patriots Global, we do have guys like a Justin Herron. We do have guys like Yanni Kajust. And you're right, we do have tackles in the building who I think could be decent guys, but you want more than just decent at the position. You want more than just a backup guy. You want a true starting offensive tackle that is going to help your offensive line stay one of the best in the league. You know, you're not just going to settle for average. You want to get as good as you can on the offensive line. So what he said here was the reason for the lack of pressure Zach Wilson faced at the collegiate level. Brady Christensen, BYU's first consensus All-American since 2009, the 6'5", 302-pound tackle, good size there, displays athleticism and elite footwork to project as an NFL starter. Christensen can move with power and is consistent in his hand placement while being solid in the solid in the RPO and run game. So straight off the bat there, you can see that he's going to be in a really good height and build. So not only is he going to be a mountain of a guy, but he also brings that footwork that Belichick loves in his offensive lineman. That's one of the big things that Belichick loves is footwork with his offensive linemen and how they can get off of their stance. And a guy that doesn't just perform well in one area of the game, whether it's passing or the run game, he seems to be able to help out just all around the O-line. So that's a tremendous value there for the Patriots. And he says here, with Trent Brown and Isaiah Wynn pending his fifth-year option being picked up, both on one-year deals, the Patriots should be in the market for a tackle in this year's draft. Christensen checks off all the boxes on what they're looking for. I couldn't agree anymore. What is this? Let's see. The more I watch Brady Christensen, the more I love him in the second round. I definitely could see him getting taken in the second round. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I do agree. The offensive tackle class is very, very good from top to bottom. So, you know, even if the Patriots missed out on Christensen, I think they could get someone else. But I would love to see Brady Christensen coming to the Pats. Physical at point of attack, athletic puller in space, displaces / washes defenders. Yeah, if you guys don't know Brady Christensen, look into him. I really like him. All right, so we're moving now into the third round, 96th overall. So that's the Patriots general pick that they had before trades. And this is where they select a wide receiver, Nico Collins out of Michigan. I don't know too much about Nico Collins. I've done some research on him, but not too much. Let's just see what he has to say. So he says, actually, let me scroll a little bit up so you guys can continue to see the pick if you just got here. The Patriots certainly added more depth and playmaking ability at the wide receiver position through free agency with the acquisitions of Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. They may not be in the market for a true number one wide receiver, even without Julian Edelman, simply because one is not needed due to the targets Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, and James White are expected to get anyway. Yes and no. I don't think the Patriots will fail without a true number one receiver, but I do still think they need a true number one guy who can take that role over. But I don't think it's as important in years past. One of my big questions, though, is they listed James White. And I still think James White is just a tremendous player who I'm hoping in his second year with the Patriots, because he had such a hard year in 2020, that he can kind of pop back into the James White we all know and love. I expected big things from him with Cam Newton because I thought James White was going to be the next Christian McCaffrey. So I totally blanked on that one for a second, but I totally thought James White was going to be the next Christian McCaffrey for Cam Newton, and that just didn't happen. And James White dropped just tremendously, but I'm going to put that on the fact that he had a hard year. So, we're hoping that James White can return to the old him, but we can't 100% say that he's going to. But I do agree with other additions that they added within Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. The tight ends are going to be much more involved. You did lose Edelman, but you're also getting a Kendrick Bourne, who I think is going to be a very big piece for this team with Edelman gone. And let's remember that Julian Edelman didn't play too much this past year. Also, with Kendrick Bourne, you'll get a more consistent play than, the Julian and 34-year-old player that he was. No hate towards him at all, though. Julian Edelman, one of my all-time favorite Patriots, easily. And Nelson Aguilar is going to be your deep threat, so they definitely will pass the ball all around, but I do still think that, though, for depth reasons, they do need help. Again, Edelman's gone. Can Nelson Aguilar stay healthy? Hunter Henry is a guy who hasn't actually played a full season in his career before, so you do still need to add some depth 100%, especially at wide receiver now with Julian Edelman being retired. He says, however, Collins brings some serious juice to the position in the third round. Everything the Patriots thought N'Keal Harry would be is what Nico Collins is. He's a true X receiver that can dominate outside the numbers and consistently make plays down the field. Collins is a 50-50 specialist that has some DK Metcalf to his game and can sneakily make plays after the catch. He is a mature physical receiver that could ultimately send N'Keal Harry packing. I don't know if Nico Collins needs to come into the Patriots organization for Harry to be packing, but I guess if he comes, that's just more telling. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I have like PTSD now because of N'Keal Harry. Like when I see someone saying, this is like the Patriots N'Keal Harry, except it's going to work this time. He's a 50-50 ball catcher down the field, a big body. I just get PTSD because now I get scared that, hey, he's just going to end up like N'Keal Harry did. Not saying that will happen, but obviously from what we saw, we thought N'Keal Harry was going to be perfect with the attributes he bought, and that just did not happen. But he's 6'4", 215 pounds, really, really nice size to a wide receiver. Something that we said about N'Keal Harry, but he never kind of lived up to expectations at all. He's projected to be a true X that can dominate at the catch point, physical receiver with strong hands, consistent playmaker down the field. All things we thought N'Keal Harry would be for sure. I guess my question here is just, what's the difference between Nico Collins and N'Keal Harry? So I wouldn't say it's my favorite pick, but I, do like the idea of trying to dip at wide receiver. So with our next third round pick, 102nd overall, which we got via San Francisco, the Patriots get edge Carlos Basham out of Wake Forest. Love this pick. The Patriots can get Carlos Basham. Totally behind it. 1 second, y'all. I'm going to take, I'm going to go on camera, right? So you guys know your boy's just going to take a little quick drink. I'm talking all the time, sometimes I gotta refresh, but I like Carlos Basham. He's one of my favorite edge rushers in this class. I haven't actually mocked him to the Patriots before, just because usually he's gone by the time I get to him. But this is via a trade, so it does make sense that they kind of got back to him. But this is what he said. He said, even with the addition of Matthew Judon and the expected development of Josh Uche and Chase Winovich, the Patriots may be in the market to continue to bolster their edge through the draft. Basham has ideal size and speed to hold his own versus NFL tackles, has elite bend and power off the edge, make him an intriguing prospect, a high motor player that can set the edge, but is also near the top of his class in terms of defending the run. Basham is a smart and instinctual player that can thrive with added development. What I get from that is that, look, he's probably not going to get a lot of playing time year one, and that's okay. That's okay because the Patriots aren't in a situation like they were in 2020 where they needed these guys to play, where they needed their rookie class to come in and be immediate starters and impact players. They have depth. They went out in free agency and they added it. Like he said, even here, the Patriots have Matt Judon. Josh Uche is still here. Chase Winovich is still here. Dante Hightower is coming back. The Patriots have so many guys at setting the edge. And while I do like Carlos Basham a lot, I don't hate this pick. Obviously, I think there's much more needs here than Carlos Basham, but maybe the way the board went, this was just a much better value than the guys that currently were on that board, which, it does make sense. I do think, though, that what he said here, he's a smart instinctual player that can thrive with added development. I don't think that you want to throw him in necessarily year one. You want to get him some snap time for sure, just to kind of help him develop throughout the way and just get him acclimated to the NFL. But I think for the most part, he's someone who you're going to see just more so down the road with the Patriots, maybe in a 2022, 2023, maybe. But like I said, the Patriots just do have a lot of other guys here at the edge position where it isn't as much of a need as I would say it was in years past. But you can never have too much good defensive players. If Matthew Judon goes down with injury, obviously you want some you want some depth there. And I've heard some rumors about Chase Winovich. Will he even stay with the Patriots? Could he be a trade candidate? I don't necessarily believe, but we'll just have to see. And I just think the value they're getting here for Carlos Basham is very good value. 6'5", 285 pounds. Pretty good build here. I also do like that he helps in stopping the run and also getting to the quarterback. Having that upside at both stopping the run and getting to the quarterback is very, very important in today's league, especially with Bill Belichick. I feel like so many guys that end up coming in and out, especially through the draft with the Patriots, usually are only good at one thing. It's either great at stopping the run or great at getting to the quarterback. If they can get a guy that is genuinely able to do both, then he's going to be an every down edge defender and is going to be with the Patriots for a very, very long time, as long as he can make that transition, of course. So they say he's an elite run defender who will make his money on early downs. Strong at the point of attack, no issue setting a consistent edge. High upside as a pass rusher, stays true to his keys. So it sounds like as of right now, he has the potential to be better as a pass rusher, but where his where the best point of Carlos Basham is going to be is stopping the run at the edge. And I think that's important just because the Patriots do need guys on the edge that can stop the run. That was one of their big issues, not just with running backs, but also scrambling quarterbacks. So I do like the pick. Next up in the fourth round, 122nd overall, the Patriots select quarterback Jamie Newman out of Wake Forest again, / Georgia. But I don't hate this pick. He is my seventh best quarterback, I believe, on my list, seventh or eighth best quarterback on my list. I've seen him go somewhere between the fourth to fifth round. But of course, your top five quarterbacks are going to be gone in the first round. And then you have Kellen Mond and Trask. Those are the only two guys that I would take before Jamie Newman. And honestly, I would much rather go with a Kellen Mond than a Jamie Newman. But I know the Patriots also met with Jamie Newman early on in the process, so it seems like there's interest in there. And he does have some skills that you can definitely develop. A very, very big arm, has some mobility to him, but some very big question marks with his accuracy. So while it is in the fourth round, I feel like it's like kind of high still to take a quarterback. That's still kind of a guy you're hoping will develop into something. I think essentially what they're doing is just trying to take a shot on a quarterback, but just because the Patriots would draft Jamie Newman at the 4th round, don't expect him to be the future because his intangibles do not show us that he is going to be a actual genuine starter in this league. But Jamie Newman's week at the Senior Bowl certainly did not go as well as he wanted. Yeah, did not look good at the Senior Bowl at all. But fans need to remember that it was his first time playing in that type of environment in over a year. And that's what concerns me with guys who have not played in 2020. I understand totally why they opted out, but it does concern me from a football standpoint. The former Wake Forest quarterback that was set to transfer to Georgia prior to opting out of the 2020 season is a project at the quarterback position, but one that has all the tools and athletic abilities to succeed at the position. Newman is a day 3 guy with the arm talent and mobility to be able to make plays, but his throwing, especially his accuracy, remains a work in progress. The Patriots took Jarrett Stidham in a similar spot in 2019 draft, and his future is uncertain as well. New England is trying to strike lightning in the bottle with Newman here in the 4th round. And that's my concern, is that you're striking lightning in a bottle. You're hoping something's going to come out of this, but it's probably going to take at least 2 years. Cam Newton signed on just a 1-year deal. You would just kind of hope that they would get like the guy of the future in the building this year, especially with not a good quarterback class for 2022. But I guess that's just not how his board went. I don't love not getting like one of the top 5 quarterbacks or Kellen Mond. But it's okay. We still struck on some very good other players who will help hopefully master the need at the quarterback position. Anything else they got on him? A pretty decent build at quarterback, 6'3", 235 pounds. Him learning behind Cam Newton is probably going to be the best overall fit for Jamie Newman, just because of the play style. They're very similar. Strong development traits. I do agree on that. Great build, and has the proven ability to work in multiple schemes, so he's versatile. But again, it just concerns me him opting out in 2020, and also just that accuracy that concerns me a lot. In the 5th round, we get another wide receiver, Jalen Darden out of North Texas. Like this pick. I like this pick a lot. Will Jalen Darden get to the 5th round? I don't know. My mock drafts I've done, he hasn't dropped to the 5th. I think maybe once he dropped to the 5th, but obviously they're trading with Jacksonville, so it should be a higher 5th round pick. I like Jalen Darden. I like Jalen Darden a lot. He's going to be your slot guy. He's probably going to be your developmental slot guy, not someone you really want to plug in year 1, but definitely down the road. He's going to be a threat. And I've selected Jalen Darden many, many times in my mock drafts. He isn't my number 1 receiver that I would take, but Jalen Darden is definitely on my list. And in the 5th round, I would not mind taking Jalen Darden at all. So looking for a Julian Edelman replacement on day 3, Jalen Darden is the perfect guy Jalen Darden is the guy for me. I accidentally added perfect there. He is one of my favorite late round prospects that has a realistic chance to be a dynamic playmaker at the next level. Like I said, I've seen him go before the 5th round, but I do agree that he does have a very realistic chance to be a very dynamic playmaker. Definitely brings speed also at the position for someone who plays in the slot. The only receiver or wide receiver that had a better college season with the Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith, while Darden racked up 74 catches for 1,190 yards and 19 touchdowns in just 9 games. That is insane. In 9 games, Jalen Darden, 74 catches, 19 touchdowns, 1,190 yards. Bizarre. Now, we did go to North Texas, so there's questions, of course, about the competition. At just 150 pounds and is only now starting to develop into his 170-pound frame. Still, he has elite speed that can stretch the field vertically, allowing him to be a threat underneath and add in the intermediate game. There may not be a shiftier player in the class. Darden is a threat to score from all 3 levels of the field. that's something that I love about Dart. He is your smaller guy, but that's never stopped the Patriots in the past when it comes to a guy playing in the slot. You need your replacement for Julian Edelman. This is a guy that is going to add terrific speed. He can burn you. He can be a downfield threat, but he's also very, very shifty also. So when you add that shiftiness along with the speed, that truly is a deadly mix. And that's why I'm a little surprised to only see him going in the 5th round. Like I said, I've seen him go in the 3rd to 4th before, but I'm guessing that small size along with coming from a small college is kind of where that concern is coming from. Elite speed and separator out of the slot. Of course, that's where he would play anyway. Dynamic playmaker after the catch, coming off a 74, 1,000. Oh, okay. Well, those are the numbers we just listed. In just 9 games, like we already mentioned. So overall, I like his draft. It's going to end there for the Patriots in the 5th round because, we did make these trades. So overall, that's how many players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So could the Patriots select 7 players? Maybe. They have 10 draft picks. I still feel like 7's a little bit high for this draft class, but maybe. Maybe they do. But with us already being at 176 players on the roster and having most of those guys being starters, I do have concerns on how they're going to make everybody make this final 53-man roster. So I just don't know if 7 picks is going to be realistic. What would I grade this draft personally? I would give it a B. If there was a B+ or an A-, I would go there, but they're just going by letter, so we're going to have to kind of just round up and go with the B. I guess you could say round down. And it looks like a lot of people agree with me also. Let me get back on the screen here. I really, really like some of his picks. Actually, I do want to just quickly go back and see exactly who we selected here, just to recap myself for a second. I think getting Zaven Collins in the 1st round was an excellent, excellent pick. That's going to be a really, really good addition for multiple parts of our defense, both now and the future, because I think he's going to be an every down linebacker. Maybe not in year 1, but within a few years, definitely. And, I don't know if I would necessarily say a Hightower replacement, because I think he's more versatile than Hightower and can play a little bit, more all around the field than Hightower. But I do know what they're saying there. So I do agree with that. And then the addition of Kelvin Joseph, the cornerback, again, maybe not, the number 1 corner I would have gone with, but maybe in the 1st round, all the other corners were gone, and he thought that Zaven Collins was just the better route. Kelvin Joseph, still a top 50 pick. Very, very good cornerback. The Patriots need help there. Really, really like that also. Brady Christensen, really good value at offensive tackle there, helping build for that offensive line. Staples the offensive line there in its tracks. Nico Collins, not necessarily my favorite. I think there's other routes you can go, but we did select Jalen Darden in the later rounds for the slot, so I can kind of see where his thought process was. You don't want to just grab 2 slot guys, obviously, so I do understand it. Carlos Basham, helping at the edge, helping solidify that defensive line again. Some of you may have gone other places, but I really do like Carlos Basham. I think he could be a really, really nice piece for the Patriots. And, of course, Jamie Newman, not one of my favorite guys, but he is one of the guys on my list that I would be okay with the Patriots drafting in the 4th round. You're like, but from my mock drafts that I've seen, people do actually have him going that high. And that's, all honesty, that's just because these top quarterbacks are being taken so high that there's so many teams who kind of need quarterbacks and want to start developing quarterbacks behind their starters, where because of how the quarterbacks are going to play out in the 2021 draft, Jamie Newman's his stock's going to get higher. It's going to be taken in a higher round. But that's going to be it for today's Mock the Mock. What would you guys grade this Mock the Mock? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to give this video a big, big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Like always, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for watching. Like always, go Pats.